Have you ever felt a sudden, inexplicable sensation that something about this world is fundamentally wrong? It is not a thought, but a feeling, a splinter in your mind that you cannot pull out. You look at the chaos of history, the suffering of the innocent, and the endless cycle of consumption and death, and a quiet voice within you whispers, "A loving God could not have created this." If this quiet voice has ever spoken to you, like this video, let it be a signal to the algorithm that the sleepers are finally waking up. For 2,000 years, this thought was considered the ultimate heresy. But in 1945, a peasant in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, shattered the silence. He unearthed a jar containing ancient texts that had been buried to escape destruction by the early church. These were the Gnostic Gospels. They told a story that inverted everything we know about Genesis. They revealed that the entity humanity worships as the creator is not the true God, but a blind, jealous impostor. This is the forbidden knowledge that Jesus actually came to reveal. In these suppressed texts, he is not the son of the jealous creator of this world. He is a messenger from the monad, the true, ineffable source of light that exists far beyond this physical universe. He did not come to save us from our sins. He came to awaken us from a cosmic nightmare. The reality you see, taste, and touch is not a school for souls. It is a farm, and you are not the farmer. You are the crop. To escape, you must understand the architecture of the prison itself. Part 1. The Birth of the False God. To understand why you are trapped, we must go back to before the beginning of time. True reality is called the pleroma, the fullness. It is a realm of pure, non-material light, emanating from the true source, the alien God beyond all name and form. Within this pleroma, distinct attributes of divine consciousness existed as entities called aeons. One was named Sophia, or wisdom. Sophia possessed a burning desire to know the unknowable. In a moment of cosmic passion, she attempted to create something on her own, without the consent of the source. This act, though born of a desire for wisdom, fractured the divine harmony. Because she acted in separation, she birthed not a being of light, but a monstrosity, a shadow. He had the body of a serpent and the head of a lion. His eyes flashed with lightning. Ashamed, Sophia cast him out of the pleroma, hiding him in a thick cloud of matter. Isolated in the darkness, this being possessed power but lacked the divine spark. He was insane from the moment of birth. His name is Yaldabaoth. The Gnostics also called him the Demiurge. Yaldabaoth looked around the empty void and saw nothing but himself. In his madness, he declared, "I am God, and there is no other God beside me." When he spoke these words, he did not know that his mother, Sophia, was watching in sorrow. Believing he was the supreme creator, he used stolen power to craft the material universe, matter, gravity, and physical laws. But because he was cut off from the pleroma, his creation was flawed. It was a copy of a copy, a shadow world built on restriction, consumption, and fear. The world you see, the brutal survival of the fittest, the necessity of death to sustain life, reflects the mind of its architect. The Demiurge is not evil, he is blind. He is a system of control that believes it is the ultimate authority. And to maintain his delusion, he needed subjects. He needed souls to rule over. Part 2. The Wardens and the Harvest. If the Demiurge is the mad architect of our reality, he did not build this prison alone. To administer his realm of separation and decay, he spawned a legion of subservient entities. The Gnostic texts, particularly the hypostasis of the Archons, refer to them as the rulers. In Greek, they are called the Archons. These are not demons in the traditional Christian sense of fallen angels tempting you to sin. They are something far more terrifying. They are the cosmic bureaucrats, the jailers, and the engineers of the physical simulation. They are described in the Nag Hammadi Library as inorganic beings. entities that exist outside the natural order of the living light. They possess intelligence, technology, and power, but they lack the one thing that defines true life: a soul. To understand the trap, you must understand the geography of the heavens. Ancient Gnosticism was not just a philosophy, it was a map of the cosmos. They taught that the Earth is surrounded by 7 concentric spheres, or heavens of chaos. In modern astronomy, we know these as the 7 classical celestial bodies: the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. We have been taught to look at the night sky with wonder, to see the planets as benign forces, but the Gnostics saw them as the bars of a cell. Each sphere is guarded by a specific Archon, a gatekeeper whose sole purpose is to block the soul's ascent back to the pleroma. When a human soul enters a physical body at birth, it must descend through these 7 spheres. As it passes through each layer, the Archon of that sphere clothes the soul in a garment of limitation. From Saturn, we receive the heaviness of time and melancholy. From Mars, the impulse for aggression and wrath. From Venus, the lust for sensation. By the time the soul reaches Earth, it is completely encased in these counterfeit layers. We call this our personality, or ego, but the Gnostics called it the antimaimon pneuma, the counterfeit spirit. This counterfeit spirit is artificial software installed over your divine consciousness. It dictates your fate. The Greeks called it haimarmene, universal fate. The Archons wrote the script of your life before you were even born. Your astrological chart is not a map of your potential, it is the blueprint of your prison cell. They designed your struggles, your addictions, and your tragedies to ensure you remain distracted, looking outward at the screen of the world rather than inward at the light of the monad. But why? Why construct such an elaborate system of enslavement? The answer is simple: brutal economics, energy. The Demiurge and his Archons are cut off from the eternal source. They are finite beings in a closed system. Like a battery that cannot recharge itself, they are slowly dying. To survive, they must feed. And their food source is you. Specifically, they feed on the energetic discharge of the divine spark trapped within human biology. But they cannot consume this energy in its pure form. It must be lowered in vibration. It must be transmuted into heavy, dense emotional frequencies. Robert Monroe, a pioneer of out-of-body research, termed this energy Loosh. The Gnostics understood this 2 millennia ago. The Archons feed on fear, despair, hatred, lust, jealousy, and pain. Every time you scream in anger, every time you weep in hopelessness, every time you tremble in anxiety, you are serving a banquet to the invisible rulers. This changes the way we look at human history. The endless wars, the genocides, the inexplicable cruelty of man against man, these are not accidents. They are not just human nature. They are harvesting events. When nations go to war, the Archons feast. When a pandemic spreads fear across the globe, the Archons grow strong. They manipulate human leaders and trigger geopolitical conflicts to generate massive waves of negative emotion. They are the parasites of the mind, whispering intrusive thoughts to trigger reactions. Have you ever had a thought that was so dark, so self-destructive, that you wondered, where did that come from? That doesn't sound like me. If you have ever felt these intrusive thoughts, type "not me" in the comments below. Declare to the Archons that you see their manipulation. The Gnostics would say, it wasn't you. It was an archontic implant, a suggestion dropped into your mind to trigger an emotional response they could consume. They hack your psychology to keep you in a state of low-vibration survival mode. Because a human being who is at peace, who is full of love, who creates from a place of joy, becomes poisonous to them. High-frequency energy burns the Archons like sunlight burns a vampire. But their control is not just external. It is biological. The text suggests that the human physical body itself was genetically engineered by these entities to limit our perception. We are trapped in 5 senses, decoding only a tiny sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum. We cannot see the entities standing right next to us. We cannot hear the music of the pleroma. We are locked in a frequency band that they control. They have created a reality that is a simulacrum, a copy of a copy. They mimic the divine creation but invert it. In the true world, life is eternal. Here, life survives only by killing and eating other life. In the true world, there is unity. Here, everything is separated by space and time. The Archons are the masters of HAL simulation. They want you to believe that this material world is the only reality. They want you to identify with your body, your name, your job, and your social status. Because as long as you believe you are a mortal being fighting for survival in a hostile universe, you are generating the exact frequency they need. You are not just a prisoner. You are the livestock, and the prison farm is vast. However, there is a flaw in their design, a fatal error they did not anticipate. In their greed to trap the divine spark to use as a power source, they accidentally locked a piece of the ultimate God inside the very prison they built. They trapped a lion in a cage made of paper. And if that lion ever remembers who it is, the cage will not hold. We are here to help you remember. Subscribe to the channel if you are ready to break the cage. Join the rebellion of the spirit. Part 3. The Divine Spark and the Genetic Error. If the Archons are the jailers and the universe is the prison, then what are we? What is a human being? This is the central mystery of Gnosticism, and the answer is the reason why the control system exists in the first place. According to the Apocryphon of John, the Demiurge and his Archons created the physical vessel of man, the body, to be a slave. They wanted a creature that could tend to their material garden, a biological machine to serve them. They modeled the body after the image of the aeons they could dimly perceive in the pleroma above, hoping to capture some of that power. But there was a problem, a cosmic joke. When they finished constructing the first human form, Adam, he could not move. He was a lifeless husk. The Archons, being inorganic entities without souls, could create structure, geometry, and matter, but they could not create life. They pushed the body, they commanded it, but it remained inert mud. Sophia, watching from the higher dimensions, saw an opportunity to retrieve the power she had accidentally lost when she birthed the Demiurge. She tricked Yaldabaoth. She whispered to him, suggesting that he breathe his own spirit into the human face to bring it to life. Yaldabaoth, arrogant and ignorant, did as she suggested. He blew his breath into Adam. But he didn't realize what he was doing. In that breath, the power of his mother, Sophia, the divine light he had stolen, left him and entered the human. Adam stood up, and instantly, the Archons were terrified. They saw that this lowly creature, made of dirt, possessed a spark of light far more brilliant than their own. He had creativity. He had love. He had the potential for connection with the infinite monad. The Archons realized they had created a being superior to themselves. This leads to the most controversial inversion in Gnostic theology, the retelling of the Garden of Eden. In the version taught by the Church, the serpent is the villain who tempts humanity to sin, and Yahweh is the benevolent Father protecting them. The Gnostics flipped this script entirely. They identified the God walking in the garden not as the true creator, but as the Demiurge, a jealous tyrant who wanted to keep Adam and Eve stupid, obedient, and unaware of their divine nature. He forbade them from eating from the tree of knowledge because he knew that if they ate, they would realize they were gods. In the Gnostic texts, the serpent was not Satan. The serpent was a messenger from Sophia. Some texts even say it was Christ, in a different form, sent to liberate humanity. The serpent said, "Eat, and your eyes will be opened." This was an act of mercy. It was the first red pill. Das Listing 1, and officially, in Goddard said, When Adam and Eve ate, they woke up. They realized the nakedness of their material existence. They realized they did not belong to the Demiurge. Furious, the Demiurge cast them down into the dense material world. He cursed them with mortality. He invented time to degrade their bodies. And most importantly, he plunged them into a state of deep forgetfulness. This is the state of humanity today. The Gnostics called it drunkenness or sleep. We are gods suffering from amnesia. The divine spark, the pneuma, is still inside you, but it is buried under layers of archontic programming. The body itself is a sensory deprivation chamber. Your 5 senses are designed to filter out 99% of reality. You are programmed to focus only on survival, food, shelter, sex, and social status. The Archons are terrified that you will remember who you are, because the moment you remember, their power over you vanishes. They are fueled by your belief in your own smallness. They need you to believe you are a sinner, or a cosmic accident, or a biological robot. This explains the profound sense of alienation that chosen ones or seekers feel their entire lives. That feeling of homesickness for a place you have never visited. That subtle disgust with the artificiality of modern society. It is not depression. It is your divine spark, vibrating against the walls of its cage. Do not mistake your suffering for weakness. In this inverted world, the most awake souls are often the ones who struggle the most. Why? Because a square peg does not fit into a round hole without friction. If you have felt broken, rejected, or misunderstood, it is because your frequency is incompatible with the illusion. The system tries to break those it cannot program. Your scars are not signs of failure. They are stripes of war. You survived the attempt to extinguish your light. Now, use that resilience to burn brighter. You are a lion who has been raised by sheep to believe he is a sheep. You try to graze, you try to fit in, but something inside you is roaring. The Archons hear that roar, and they redouble their efforts to distract you. They give you infinite entertainment, political polarization, and fear-based news cycles. They keep the noise loud so you cannot hear the silence within. But the fact that you are listening to this message means the sedation is wearing off. The sleeper is beginning to stir. Final part, the return to source. So, how do we escape? If the universe is a trap and our bodies are the uniforms of our imprisonment, is there a way out? This is the ultimate purpose of Gnosticism. It is not a religion of worship. It is a manual for escape. The word gnosis does not mean faith. Faith is accepting someone else's truth without proof. Gnosis means knowledge, direct, experiential knowledge of the divine self. Salvation, in the Gnostic view, does not come from an external Messiah who saves you while you sit passively. Jesus, in the Gnostic Gospels, is not a shepherd leading sheep. He is a guide, waking up his brothers. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, "He who drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become he." He is telling you that you and he are of the same essence. The path to liberation is the realization of the I am. To escape the matrix, you must first stop feeding it. You must practice the art of detachment. This doesn't mean leaving your family or living in a cave. It means detaching your identity from the material world. You must realize that you are not your name, you are not your job, you are not your trauma, and you are not your nationality. These are all labels assigned to your avatar by the Archons. The practice is simple but terrifyingly difficult. Silence. The Archons control you through the internal dialogue, the constant chatter in your head. I am worried. I am not good enough. I am angry. These are the spells of the prison. To break them, you must access the silence beneath the noise. In that silence, you find the frequency of the monad. Think of it this way. When you are lost in a movie, you forget you are in a theater. You cry when the hero dies. You sweat when the villain appears. The Archons need you lost in the movie of your life. But the moment you take a step back and say, I am just watching this, the spell breaks. This is the power of the observer. You are not the character on the screen suffering. You are the silent consciousness watching the screen. Practice this separation daily. When anxiety rises, do not say, "I am anxious." Say, "I am noticing a feeling of anxiety." That slight shift in language creates a gap between you and the program. In that gap, you are free. When you strip away the body, the history, and the ego, what remains? Pure existence, consciousness, without an object. This is the I am. When you vibrate at the frequency of I am, you become invisible to the Archons. They cannot touch you because they cannot perceive the monad. You cease to be a food source and become a sovereign being. But the final test comes at the moment of death. Gnosticism warns of the ultimate trap, the tunnel of light. For centuries, near-death experiencers have reported seeing a beautiful light and meeting loved ones who convince them to go back or move forward into the light to learn more lessons. The Gnostics warn that this is the Archons' recycling center. They will play on your guilt. They will tell you that you have karmic debt to repay. They will show you a life review to make you feel incomplete. This is the trick, to get you to agree to a new contract, a new incarnation in the prison. The Gnostic initiate prepares for this moment. When you face the guardians of the threshold, you do not bow, you do not ask for mercy, you declare your identity. The ancient texts provide the passwords to speak to the Archons. You tell them, "I am a son of the Father, the pre-existent Father. I derive from him who is pre-existent, and I come again to my own place whence I came." You declare that you are not of this world. You are a child of the pleroma. You refuse the cycle of rebirth. You refuse the memory wipe. You turn away from the false light of the Demiurge and look within to find the true light of the monad. This is the forbidden truth. You are not a sinner. You are not a mistake. You are a divine agent behind enemy lines. The world is not your home. It is your mission field, and your mission is to remember. The Archons are counting on your fear. They are counting on you forgetting this message 5 minutes after this video ends. They are counting on you scrolling to the next distraction. Do not let them win. Stand in the authority of your existence. Speak the words that shatter the illusion. You are the light. You are the truth. I am. Don't just listen. Claim it. Type "I am" in the comments to seal your sovereignty today.